my guy, and I just don't want to get in the ring. I have to hit my guy. And then for me, it just became a thing where my guy is the best guy out there, so I got to fight the best guy, you know. So I really did, man. I put aside, you know, any sentiments I had for not wanting to hit him, not wanting to prepare for him, not wanting to look at him as an enemy or anything like that at all. And I don't know if that's something that Canelo can do. I do to a degree. I do think that it's interesting that he's saying, "Hey, that's my fellow countryman. I'm not going to fight him." So we'll see what happens.
Shawn, it really feel different. Obviously, they're in a different point. They want the Canelo fight. I mean, so there's like it's American citizen now. It's like, I'm not Ecuadorian. Like, we can still do it.
Yeah, everybody's like, yo, don't, you know. Yeah. As they should, you know. They should, you know, even same time. Like, it came to a point where I was like, I want to fight you. And Terrence was like, hey, bro, nah, like, what did we talk about? And I'm like, it's you it, you know. So both those guys is like Zurdo and Benavidez is like, hey, don't forget, like, this is a game, this is a fight game, you know what I mean? So we in here to get the best, you know. So we'll see what happens.
Keith Thurman recently had an interview, you know, saying that
Showtime.
Yeah,
I saw that.
With the white T-shirt on.
Basically, was he's not a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
You know, because people were trying to. I think Brian Custer was talking to him about boots.
Yeah.
But he was also talking, you know, about Spencer Crawford, who's obviously been in the ring with all three guys. Is it kind of unfair for people to put Thurman in that? I mean, Thurman did beat all the guys Spence beat before Spence.
Keith is my guy. Keith put himself in that position, and I don't think he put himself in that position on purpose. I do think that, and I don't speak candidly, I do think that he tried to control the business side of his career a little too much, and I think he tried to be a little too strategical, and I think that it did backfire on him to a degree. But I mean, he had injuries, things that he just could not control, and I think that his time away from the ring, it kind of just pushed him to the back, and it continued to push him to the back. So, you know, even in his comeback fights, they weren't the old one time that we're used to seeing. And when you don't see that old one time, it's like, hey, who are you now? You are gatekeeper. You are a has-been and things of that nature. I think, you know, I said on the Porter Way podcast that Keith, get back in the ring ASAP. It doesn't matter who you're getting in the ring with. Get back in the ring ASAP. And okay, so you don't want to be a gatekeeper, then take on somebody who is on that same level that you just fought with Barrios, dominate that dude, and then say, I'm ready for the big time. You can't stay away for so long and then expect people to still have that same respect for you. So it kind of just is what it is. Do I think he's a gatekeeper? No. Do I think he's on the verge of becoming a gatekeeper? Yes, because of his inactivity. So I think that that's what people are looking at. They're just looking at him not being the same guy, and that's what the gatekeeper is. Gatekeeper is the guy who was great, but is not great anymore, you know. So
if Shawn don't get Spence Crawford, because we still don't have the announcement. So if we don't get it, if Keith is the next guy,
I want to see Keith get one more fight, like a tuna fight. I think that people need to respect him coming back from everything. Get that last little tuna fight in. I mean, get it in ASAP. And then get ready to get in the ring with somebody who's up there. Because if you're not getting in the ring with them, now it's got to be Boots, or it's got to be Virgil Ortiz or Staniones or somebody like that. Yup.
And Shawn, I wanted to piggyback off of that topic there. The gatekeeper role. The gatekeeper role at 147. How specifically dangerous is that spot? With, like you just said, you got sharks up top and you got the young lions on the bottom that will not take no for an answer. Yeah,
I don't really know, like, who is. I don't know. Do you guys even look? Do you look to see who's becoming the gatekeeper? Like, how does that even work?
I think it just happens.
It just kind of happens, right?
Performances make
it
happen.
Like it kind of like Keith is just kind of becoming.
He's careful, like you said.
Yeah.
Get back in.
Yeah, like I don't.
He's got to get back in there.
I don't know, man. It's weird. I do think that the welterweight division is dangerous for everybody. I like to see. I did, man. I'm a big fan of Keith. We're friends. Blah 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 blah. I want to see him come back, and I want to see him have a great, fruitful career. Not mediocre fights against mediocre guys and things of that nature. So
I want to ask you about a fight that no one really talks about too much, and that's Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Stanionis.
Yeah.
Stylistically,
Is
what
that
do you
fight
think
coming?
about that? They're not fighting, but what do you
Yeah.
think about them if they did get together?
That's a
stylistically?
clash. That's a clash right there. I don't remember who Stanionis fought in his last fight, but
He fought Butayev,
Butiev.
right? From India.
And that fight wasn't like as action-packed as I expected it to be. I think near the end it started to get to be that way. But that's what I see out of Ortiz and Stanionis. I think it's an action-packed fight. Stanionis does take a lot of shots, but he's really strong. So I don't know, man. That's a really interesting fight. I don't think it'll ever happen, but that is a really interesting fight.
I've been talking a lot.
It's a shame that some fights don't happen, man.
Definitely. I've been talking a lot to Blair Cobbs.
Yeah.
Blair Cobbs is hell-bent on fighting against Virgil Ortiz Jr. He is hell-bent on fighting Virgil Ortiz Jr. What do you think about that fight? Same promotional company. What do you think about those two if they did get together?
Blair's entertaining. You know, we have to say that, I think, first and foremost about Blair. I think Blair, near the middle of that fight, I think he started to kind of find himself.
Versus Mo Hooker.
Yeah, against Hooker. Started to control the fight, and I think he got comfortable. But I think that the worst thing could happen in that is you kind of trick yourself into believing certain things. I don't know if he's ready for somebody like Virgil Ortiz, who's not going to stop coming, who has relatively good defense in terms of blocking shots, and is very strong, throws power with every shot. Blair's got to be perfect for an entire fight, not just, you know what I mean? So that's a tough fight for Blair. Entertaining for us, great for us, I think. How does that fight end? I think it ends with Virgil Ortiz getting his hand raised. But you had that comeback fight. You fight through a little adversity. You grow. Obviously, you get confident. So maybe there's something that Blair's got that we haven't seen. I like his movement. And I remember on the telecast they were saying he was moving too much. I don't agree with that. I like his movement. You guys know that I was moving. Excuse me. I like his movement, and I like how he keeps his guys off balance. That's exactly what you need against Virgil Ortiz. So maybe he's got something that we don't know, you know.
And my last question for you. You fought the big three, the who's who in this graduating class.
Who's your big three right now?
Well, what I'm saying is that Crawford, Spence, and Thurman. We mentioned them before.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you, out of those three, who was the heaviest puncher that you can remember?
All of them. What I always say is you don't feel it in the moment, you feel it the day after. You know what I mean? So it's hard to say. I think it's been very clear who hit me with certain shots and how those shots affected me. I'm blessed and I'm grateful that I was able to stay strong, come back and be myself. And now after retiring and doing my examinations and things of that nature, everything's still good with me. Neurologically. Excuse me. So I think, yeah, I was gonna say I think everything right there would suggest different, but my test actually went really good, and not that I had any worries, but you know after taking some of those shots from those guys and being in those wars and things of that nature, I'm grateful that I was able to do it. Some really classic events that I've been a part of, and I'm grateful.
Yeah. Last one for me.
Last one.
We talked about Virgil and obviously Boots. I feel like those two guys are the two top lions kind of coming after the top of the division.
Boots and Stanionis or Boots and Ortiz?
Boots and Ortiz.
Yeah.
That was a really, who knows if that ever happens, right?
Oh, yeah,
Emotional issues and stuff like that. But just the eye test with those two, do you lean one way or the other if they fought each other?
I mean, I lean towards Boots if he was to get in the ring with Virgil Ortiz. Boots is like just straight up special, man. I've said this before. I think he's like the closest thing we have to Roy Jones, and it remains to be seen, of course, like what he's able to really put together throughout his career. But I mean, I'm talking about a guy who's just unbelievably athletic and gifted, and just gifted in every way. You know what I mean? Speed, quickness, agility, power, anticipation, reflexes, the whole nine. I mean, I do. I think that Boots is the guy at welterweight. I am a fan of Boots. I watched him, and I just said, like, what? This dude is different. You know what I mean? So that's hard to beat. With Virgil Ortiz, I mean, you can pick the things that he's good at, and you can pick the things that he needs to improve on. I guess, for the sake of words, we haven't seen anybody challenge Boots enough to see what he needs to work on. But then guess what? Is it those guys or is it Boots? You know what I mean? So he's great. Oh yeah, come on now. I was hoping. All right, now Reebok, holla at me. Showtime Shawn P. Should I leave my email? Holla at me. Yeah, man. I'm working on it. Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you, dog.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.